Hello everyone. Pokemon Day 2024 is about a month away now, and I want to talk a little bit about some possibilities for what we may be seeing. Now, all of this could end up being wrong, but this is based on my own theories and things I've heard around the community, things people are hoping for, so on and so forth. So if you are interested, I hope you enjoy this video. I will have timestamps in the description for various topics. But to start things off, I'm going to just start with what I think might be the most likely thing that we'll see at Pokemon Day 2024 when it comes to mainline Pokemon games. And that is going to be a another DLC for Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet. Now, why would I think we're getting more DLC, especially with the fact that we just got the Indigo Disc, and with Sword and Shield, we only got two DLCs. Uh, I have a few reasons, but I think the first and most important reason is the potential successor to the Nintendo Switch. If that console releases this year, we likely will not have seen an announcement prior to Pokemon Day. And the next Pokemon games likely will be released for that console. So I don't think they're going to go and announce a game for a console that has not yet been announced. Now, the Switch 2, the Switch Pro, the Nintendo Go, whatever, the Super Switch, whatever. It may not be coming out this year. It might not. But if it is, I do not think that the Pokemon Company is going to announce a new Pokemon game for that console before the console is announced. And I don't think it's going to end up being like a cross-gen title where it's available on the Switch and the Switch successor, because we don't even know if backwards compatibility will be a thing. So what do I think this Scarlet and Violet DLC could be that they could be putting out to kind of hold us over for another year while we wait for the announcement of the Switch successor? And then probably for Pokemon Day 2025, they go ahead and announce the next big game, which will be out on that console. I think that the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet games could get a DLC themed around, well, summer vacation. And I think it's a massive missed opportunity that they've not done this. The games are themed around school, and I think it would be really fun if they did a small DLC this summer titled Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet Summer Vacation. It could be a less expensive DLC, not really tied to Hidden Treasure of Area Zero. Let's say it's like a $10, $15 DLC. It adds a small little area, maybe a battle facility, kind of like in Hoenn, where it's on like a little island resort kind of area. You travel there and enjoy your break from school with probably the prerequisite that you've completed all of the classes in the base game. That's just an idea for what they could do. On top of that, I think it would be a perfect opportunity to implement a new feature that people have been asking for, with that feature being the ability to, wear non-school uniform clothing. Having a summer vacation DLC would be the perfect opportunity to allow players to wear stuff that is not school uniforms. And part of why I think this is even a possibility is because something interesting that you may or may not have noticed in the Blueberry quests is that there is a group quest, if you do multiplayer, a group quest called Take a Photo with Your Friends wearing something other than a school uniform. Now, this will be for, the Kitakami clothing and also some of the Blueberry clothing, such as the tracksuit that you're given by Drayton. But the fact that there's clothing in the game that are flagged as not school uniforms says a lot, because they added that tag intentionally. That tag is important, and it's noteworthy because you are never penalized in the game for not wearing a school uniform. You're not told to change if you're not wearing a school uniform, if you're wearing one of these items that is marked as not a school uniform. So that might be kind of the gateway into them adding more clothing. Now, it could just be a little thing. They did that just because they wanted a little more variety for the quests. But it's a possibility, and I think it's interesting. So I wanted to bring it up. As for the battle facility I mentioned earlier, it could be as simple as the Sword and Shield battle tower. I'm not looking for anything too crazy, and I don't think they will do anything too crazy. Uh, Game Freak has kind of shown that they're not super interested in like a battle frontier-esque battle facility. But if we saw something like the battle tower or restricted sparring from Isle of Armor or any of that, I would be pretty happy. And I think it would be reasonable for an inexpensive DLC that would just be there to kind of increase the longevity of the game until the next year's Pokemon Day announcements. With all of that said, what do I think could alternatively be announced? What if they do announce a new game? Now I'm going to go over two options with kind of some sub-options. These options would be some sort of Johto game or some sort of Unova game. We're going to start with talking about Johto. I think it's very possible that they could go, oh, Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl just released a few years ago. Next up, also in Gen 4, we got Heart Gold and Soul Silver. So what if we get remakes of Johto or Legends Johto or whatever? There are a few possibilities here. I could see them doing some sort of Crystal remake because they've already done Silver and Gold. They've already remade those, but they've not remade Pokemon Crystal. And I could see it being a big thing where maybe they tie in some sort of uh Generation 9 thing. Like maybe they do Pokemon Terra Crystal as the name, and they bring in the Terra Stall phenomenon into Johto for the remake. Obviously, they need to have something before Crystal in the name, because we have Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and Terra Crystal. Just an idea. That might not be a thing, but it's a possibility, and I think it would be pretty cool. Alternatively, I can see them doing Pokemon Legends Celebi, revisiting, um, the Legends series. Legends was pretty successful at the start of 2022, and I think a new title in the Legends sub-series would bring in a lot of hype. Now, I don't know what exactly the plot would be for some sort of Legends Johto game. I think it would be reasonable to assume that it would have something to do with the burned tower and Ho-Oh and Lugia and the three legendary beasts. I think it's very possible that if we were to get a game like that, they would include the Paradox beasts from the Scarlet and Violet DLC. I don't see a world where they don't include them in some way, shape, and form in a game like that. Whether it be as like a space-time distortion thing or some sort of event. Even if they're just transfer only, because they just released those new forms, and it would be strange to not include them in a game set in the past when they are past forms. Just saying. I think it would be really cool if we saw Walking Wake, Gouging Fire, and Raging Bolt in that game. Uh, Another little sub-theory I have is that they could include Pekarunt in this game. If you've seen the little video that the Pokemon Company put out on their YouTube channel giving backstory to Pekkarunt, it noted, in the past, Pekkarunt was the friend of an old couple. And I think it's very possible that maybe in the next Legends game, whether it's Johto or otherwise, we could see and meet this old couple and see Pekkarunt before Pekkarunt became, well, the monstrous creature we know it as now, that enslaved an entire town and made them scream about Mochi. Just throwing that out there. We might see more of Pekkarunt or see, its relationship with that couple ourselves with our own eyes. Now on to talking about what could be happening with Unova, and I think Unova is something a lot of people are personally assuming is going to be happening, especially because Scarlet and Violet's Indigo Disc DLC took place in Unova. But I think that's exactly why we're not getting Unova games. And I'll gladly be wrong. Like, I will gladly be wrong because I would love to see some sort of revisit to Unova. I just don't think it's likely. I feel like the Indigo Disc was their way of saying, we're not giving you Unova yet, but here's some Unova love for all of you Unova fans to hold you over. But what do I think will be coming if we get a Unova game? I think the main options, there's a few, really. We could get, Ilka ILCA remakes of Black and White or Black and White 2. Um, in the same style of Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. I would not mind that, although I would prefer we don't get that. We could also get Black 3 and White 3, which could be exciting. We could integrate a lot of the stuff we've learned about the characters post Black 2 and White 2, with Indigo Disc, kind of showing us their families and more characters and expanding Unova in an interesting way with Blueberry Academy. And maybe the Terrastall phenomenon has come to Unova because it's at Blueberry Academy, which is in Unova. All of that's possible. But alternatively, we could also see a game about, well, it's Legends Unova, and that could be about, well, I don't know. It could be set in the past, it could be set in the future. I think Unova could be an interesting case where they could do a game set in the future, although I feel like that would be better fit for Galar. As for what I could see in a Legends Unova, I think same thing goes with the Pekkarunt story being integrated in some way. I think with all of these options, an ILCA remake, Black and White 3, and a Legends Unova, or a Legends Victini, Keldeo, whatever they want to call it, I don't know. I think they'll integrate the original dragon. I don't see them not bringing in the original dragon for a game such as this. As for like gameplay, for like if we were to get a Black and White 3, I assume it would be in the style of Scarlet and Violet. I don't think they would do Black and White 3 in the style of. I mean, they could. They could do an ILCA style Black and White 3, but I feel like it'll be an open world game. I feel like there was a lot of criticism towards Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. And even though I enjoyed the games, I understand a lot of the criticisms people had, especially because Orez, Omega Ruby, and Alpha Sapphire really raised the bar for remakes. But yeah, I'm excited. I think all of these options are pretty reasonable. I could definitely see them announcing a Scarlet and Violet DLC. I could see them announcing Legends Johto. I could see them announcing a Unova game, whatever. Any of this. Johto remakes, Unova remakes, any of it. I also think it's possible, and I don't want to put this out there. I think it's possible they don't announce any new mainline games or content, and they just hold off until the Switch successor is announced. I think that's entirely possible, and it would really stink. I could see them doing maybe another remake like they did Mystery Dungeon. They did a new Pokemon Snap. Maybe we'll get Detective Pikachu DLC. I don't know. But I'm hoping that I I'm I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this, okay? What I want most is more DLC for Scarlet and Violet. I have really enjoyed these games, and I think that they just need a battle facility and better character customization, and the games will be like perfect. Obviously, performance aside, because the performance is not the best. But if those two things, better character customization and a battle facility, were added, I would be so happy. It would be perfect. Get a few more Pokemon added, get the X and Y legendaries, get in the Tapus, get in flippin' just the remaining missing mythicals, legendaries, and whatnot. And a few more Pokemon. Maybe the flippin' elemental monkeys from Unova, because they've not been on the Switch yet. I would love to see that, but we'll have to wait and see in a month. So we'll see. I will see you all then. I'm very excited. Have a nice day, everyone.